keeping every single student in that golden sweet spot where learning is challenging but never frustrating.
But here's the catch. If we fundamentally change how we learn, we absolutely have to change how we grade. The old system was all about arithmetic averages, adding up all your scores over a whole semester. That system actually punishes a kid for their early, clumsy attempts at learning. Think about learning to ride a bike. We don't dock points for the times you fell off on day 1 if you're riding perfectly by day 10, right? The new evidence-based grading model focuses purely on the most recent, consistent proof of what you know. We need to reward the competency a student has at the end of their journey, using a human teacher's professional judgment instead of some outdated, punishing mathematical average.
This brings us to Part 5, Spatial Innovation of Future Classrooms.
This whole shift brings up a really fascinating physical dilemma. If an AI can give you personalized lessons while you're sitting on your couch at home, why do we even need a school building? Well, architectural researchers at places like Owery have mapped this out, and the school of the future looks nothing like those old, long rows of forward-facing desks. They're designing spaces specifically for their purpose. You've got cooperational active spaces, purely for loud group work. You've got creative experiential spaces, like high-tech maker spaces for building things. There are emotional reading spaces that act as quiet decompression zones, right next to exhibition stage spaces for presenting your ideas. The physical architecture has to become this smart, flexible environment that adapts to the students, not the other way around.
Because of all this, the very purpose of the school building completely transforms. It stops being a place you just go to download facts and becomes an irreplaceable hub for human socialization, hands-on tech interaction, and practicing collective intelligence. Look, if the global pandemic taught us anything, it's that missing out on academics during remote learning was bad. But the massive loss of socialization and peer-to-peer emotional growth, that was devastating. You can get facts from a screen, but the physical school of 2036 is where you go to learn how to actually be a collaborative, empathetic human being among other human beings.
Finally, let's wrap up with Part 6. What should we prepare for? So what's the game plan? What do we need to do today to get ready for this highly technological reality? The research points to a few urgent steps for all of us. First, universal AI literacy is a must. Students don't just need to know how to write a prompt. They need to understand exactly how these systems generate information. Second, we urgently need strict ethical guidelines for data privacy, because a personalized AI tutor needs a lot of personal cognitive data to actually work well. We also have to actively fight algorithmic bias to make sure education stays equitable across different cultures. And lastly, none of this works without global cooperation. Initiatives from groups like the OECD and UNESCO are absolutely crucial to make sure no community gets left behind in this massive transition.
I want to end this explainer by leaving you with a profound question to chew on. If artificial intelligence truly becomes the flawless engine for teaching historical dates, solving complex math, and delivering all our raw knowledge, what is the most important thing human beings actually need to learn at school? Is it empathy, resilience, or maybe it's just the ability to ask the right questions in a world that already has all the immediate answers? As we actively build the classroom of 2036, figuring out the answer to that question is going to be our greatest challenge. Thanks so much for joining me today, and as always, keep learning.